Ain't Happy TV, where we're here to inspire and encourage you to pursue your gifts and talents. Welcome back. And we have here with us Becky Wright from Tahlequah, Oklahoma. Thank you so much for coming.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
You're welcome. I've heard quite a bit about you.
Uh-oh.
Of course, from Agape Fest and on Facebook. And, you just happen to be the lady of the hour when it comes to adoption and children. And I understand that you have a few of those in your own home, right?
A few. We have 9 children collectively, but we're not totally crazy. We have 5 grown children, his, mine, and then ours at home, ours by birth, and ours by adoption. So we have 4 at home.
Wow.
Yes.
So how did you get started? Were you had 4 children of your own, and did you already have the 4 children before you started adopting, or?
We had 7 before God called us to adopt it. It was so ironic. People ask me this question a lot, and you can look back on your life and see the hand of God over things that seem to kind of catch you by surprise, and that's what happened to us. We had some dear friends that have several adopted children, and most of those children have special needs, and these were the throwaway kids, the kids that no one else wanted. And this dear family that lives right around the corner from me adopted them, and they just had such a heart of God towards these children that other people would judge and think, oh, that's too much trouble for me.
Right.
A child that's going to have their legs amputated and have prosthetic legs, or a child who, the drug babies and all these little labels that we give people to discount the sovereignty of God in their life. And I was so inspired by this family. They're named the Hewitt family. So hello, Kim, John, and all the kids if you're watching. And I wrote a song. I was literally talking on the phone to Kim, and the song started going through my head. And that song is Child of My Heart. And it was a duet, and I needed a man to sing the man's part. It's like the adoptive mother and father singing to this child. You may not be the child of my blood, but you're the child of my heart. And it's as if I was in that seat, as if I was that mother and that father. And the Lord led me to Tommy Brandt, of all people. We consider.
Love Tommy.
I do love him. I love him. And we were considering Colin Ray for the project, Billy Ray Cyrus, and several others, and the Lord said, no, Tommy. I'm like, who's Tommy? And he's my man.
Wow.
And the Lord knew he was the one, and his family and my family are just, of course, very close now. And then we end up winning Duo of the Year at the Agape Fest in 2006 with that one song, and we're not even a duo except for that song.
Right.
It was just a God thing confirming. And then the next year, the Lord just started pouring on more and more songs about adoption and foster kids and orphans, and even songs reaching out to birth mothers who are in a very difficult place to have to make a decision for life or death for their child if they can't raise their child, to hopefully choose life and choose a family,
right.
Create a family for that child as opposed to giving that child a death sentence because you're in a bad situation. So the songs on the album that I'm working on kind of cover that whole gamut: pro-life, crisis pregnancy ministry, foster children, orphans, not just in the United States, although that's kind of my focus, and then adoption as well. And I said, Lord, why are you giving me all of these songs? And in 2008, that whole year, that's the year that I won the Female Songwriter of the Year. And I had just written a bunch more songs about adoption and foster parenting, and then went into the studio in August of 2008 with Robert Jason, my producer, phenomenal producer and songwriter himself, and started recording the first 2 singles from this Heart of Adoption album. And again, I'm like, Lord, I'm spending all this time, all this money, and all this on songs about this. And I just thought, it's kind of like missions. Either you're the one to go, you're the one to pray, you're the one to send by giving money, or you're the motivator. You're the person to call the church to action particularly. And I thought, well, I'm just the motivator. I'm the voice to get everybody else to jump in and consider being a foster parent. And you hear so many children on the waiting child segment and so forth, not just in Tulsa, but around the country. And you hear so many foster children say, I want to be adopted by a Christian home. I want to go to church because my foster family took me to church. What a powerful ministry to be a foster parent. So it kind of started that way. And after the fact, on a very long concert tour that summer of 2008, we went on 4,000-mile, 14-state concert tour, and I actually met the children that, unbeknownst to me, would be my children today.
They've
been with us 1 year yesterday. Jeffrey and JC, Mama loves you, and all my other kids too.
Don't make me cry now. Mess up my makeup. Okay, so you had no idea that you were going to, I mean, you just happened to view what another parent or two other parents were doing.
Yes.
And you admired that so much, and God just took you on a journey.
It started with one song.
And even with that one song, you didn't know that you would end up adopting.
No, and then I started being asked to speak at adoption and foster parenting conferences all over the country. And now that I have my own adopted children that are not even finalized with the adoption yet, they're still technically foster children, and they've been in our home 1 year yesterday. So 1 year ago yesterday, my husband and I took 3 flights to get from here to West Virginia, spent a few hours, took the children to the Capitol building, which they'd never been to in Charleston. They lived about 2 hours south of there. They'd never been to a Chuck E. Cheese. They'd never been to a zoo.
Oh.
And, you know, it's just like a whole new world to them. And yet I see how much they've lost from their birth families, so we're trying to meld that all together and help bring healing for them.
Well, now, you know, you're the singer. Your husband doesn't sing, does he?
Oh, no.
So what, you wouldn't always expect it to be where the husband and wife agree on something like that, though. I mean, he stepped into something that he wasn't as prepared for in the beginning as you that's singing about it.
No,
so.
and he's 14 years my senior, so believe me, he spoils our daughter, little JC, just like a grandpa should. But let me tell you how it happened. On my concert tour in 2008, we went, like I said, through 14 states, and we stopped in West Virginia actually twice. On the way back, we were going to make some time to find these children. The little boy was 8. His name is Jeffrey, and he was biologically my cousin, although I hadn't seen him since he was 11 months old. And when my mother found that our concert tour was taking us through West Virginia, she said, "I think your long-lost little cousin lives in West Virginia. You should look him up and go visit him. I have his grandmother's phone number." Grandmother was raising him. The mother still has a drug problem, and of course the father's dead. And she's since had another baby, and they don't know who the daddy is, so he's got a little half-sister, and she's 2, and you should really go see them. So we did. And then the grandmother and the aunt brought the children. We all met at a park for about an hour. And about the last 5 minutes of that time, of course, I'm walking around doing what I always do, being on the side of the camera that I much prefer, which is on the other side, taking pictures of the children and the little sister so the kids could see what little Jeffrey looks like and what his little sister looks like. The last 5 minutes or so, I picked up this little girl because she was just adorable and carried her around for only 5 minutes. And as it's about time to go, I hand her back to her grandmother, and she reaches back towards me and starts to cry.
Oh, wow.
I'm a stranger. I've held her for 5 minutes. Then I started to cry, and my niece, who we took with us on the trip, started to cry, and then my boys started to cry, and everybody's crying. And we feel this incredible magnet. And as we get in the car, the Lord spoke to me so plainly, but it was so far-fetched, I couldn't even voice it to my husband. I thought, he's going to just drop me off on the side of the road if I say this. The Lord said, "These are going to be your children." Like, what? They have a grandmother. Even if something happens to her, they have an aunt, you know, about the same age as me. She knows them. They don't know me. And all I did was gave Jeffrey a little CD with my picture on it so he wouldn't forget his cousin in Oklahoma. And the Lord brought that to fruition a few months later.
Oh, wow.
It's still mind-boggling to me.
We're going to have to break for a quick commercial here. When we get back, we'll get to listen to Becky Wright sing a couple of songs that really is the heart of this adoption, the adoption program, or what would you call it? Mission, okay. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with Becky Wright. You don't want to miss these 2 songs. They're really phenomenal. We'll be right back.
Today I found a lucky flower. I think that's a good sign. Another family is coming this week to choose one of us. And this time, maybe, just maybe, they will choose me.
I've been called just a number, a faceless soul with no name. And I've been called the forgotten child, a heartbreak, a pity, a shame. But I still dream I'll find my forever family. And my heart screams who I want to be. an answer to prayer, a breath of fresh air, just the one you need. Call me loved, call me wanted and treasured, call me precious, call me yours, call me loved. Some have called me an orphan, a child with no place to belong, destined for greatness, a future secure, but somewhere something went wrong. But love can work a wonder, finding blessings in disguise, and you might see your future in my eyes. Call me loved, call me chosen and cherished, an answer to prayer, a breath of fresh air, just the one you need. Call me loved, call me wanted and treasured, call me precious, call me yours, call me call me loved, call me chosen and cherished, an answer to prayer, a breath of fresh air, just the one you need. Call me loved, call me wanted and treasured, call me precious, call me yours, call me loved. And that's what they all deserve. Thank you very much for letting me be here today. I am very honored to be joined by a special little friend of mine who is very dear to my heart. Miss Kerrigan Bradley is a phenomenal young woman. Give her a hand. God has blessed her with an incredible talent and a heart for Him, as well as her family, who are huge supporters. She just spent about 9 months in Branson, working every night, performing at the Clay Cooper Theater this last season, and will be going back in June. So I missed her terribly while she was gone, so we don't get to be in the same place at the same time very often. But she is my duet partner on my newest single, which we're going to sing for you now. So I know you're going to enjoy this message about these children that Kerrigan helps me convey so well. This is called Thank You for Giving Me a Chance.
Take a good look at me, so much that you can't see. Dreams to share with someone who cares. I've got abilities, personality, a hidden treasure with love to spare.
You need someone who believes in you. What if that someone is me?
Thank you for giving me a chance, for giving me hope, for giving me the stance to find a family who's crazy about me.
What more could I ever ask?
Thank you for giving me a chance. Look close and you will see the possibilities. Together we're the perfect combination.
I'm here with open arms.
I'll give you all my heart.
You love me,
I love you. A win-win situation.
situation. You are the one I prayed for all my life.
Someone who loves me for me. Thank you for giving me a chance, for giving me hope, for giving me this chance to find a family who's crazy about me.
What more could I ever ask?
Thank you for giving me a chance. I need someone I can count on.
I'm glad that someone is me. Yeah.
Thank you for giving me a chance, for giving me hope.
For giving me this day.
I found a family who's crazy about me. What more could I ever ask?
What more could I ever ask?
What more could we ever ask? Thank you for giving me a chance.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much. Now, you know, this little cutie here has a mommy, a very beautiful mommy, is to be exact. But, you know, there's not a lot of kids like her. There's a whole lot more that don't have that home that they can go home to. They don't have the mommy and daddy that care. And that's why Becky's out here telling as many people as she can that we need mommies and daddies to take care of these children that need a good home. So stay tuned. We'll be right back, and we'll talk some more to these two fine ladies that are out doing a mission. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome back. We have Becky with us and Kerrigan. Well, Becky, let's touch a little bit on, now to me, for a child to need to be adopted, doesn't that mean that something had to happen in their family? Is the majority of it that's coming from abuse, or?
Well, my husband is a child welfare supervisor, and over 70% of the child abuse cases that come in have to do with substance abuse. And by the same token, if that abuse continues and the parents aren't able to get their lives straight and be able to properly parent their child and keep them safe, then eventually over a long period of time, and some people think that timeline is way too long,
Right.
they end up having their rights terminated, or they relinquish, they voluntarily give up rights. And rights were terminated, for instance, on my children because of the mother's continued drug use. And of course, Jeffrey, his father, was my uncle, and he died right before Jeffrey was born. So obviously he was an orphan on the father's side and had a mother who was not able to care for him on the mother's side. And the baby girl was a little different story, which I'm not quite ready to tell yet until she's old enough to hear it. But through God's providence, they are now ours, and they both have a daddy for the first time in their lives, and it's been the most amazing thing. And one of the songs that some of the kids have been singing, the Heart of Adoption album that I'm working on, a lot of children sing on it. You heard Kerrigan on that duet. There's others that she's helped with. Even the background vocals on Call Me Loved when we do that live. Kerrigan and her little sister, Haddison, another unique name by a very unique and talented little girl, sing on that song. Some of these songs are just sung by children. A song called Who's My Daddy? It's the foster child who's still waiting. And again, all these songs came to me before we ever knew that I was adopting, and I would just cry and cry as I'd write these songs and sing these heart-wrenching songs. And it's a good thing the Lord gave them to me before we knew, because I just would completely fall apart. Now I see my little 3-year-old, JC, and Kerrigan's seen her do it, and we're sitting there at the piano practicing Who's My Daddy, and JC starts singing, and my husband walks up, and he's got tears in his eyes. I'm your daddy, honey, I'm your daddy. You know, it's just so overwhelming, and yet God's providence knew ahead of time He was going to call us to adopt, and He was giving us the heart for that first. And what's really been impressed upon me lately, Victoria, is that, you know how we pray that prayer of Jabez, Lord, increase my boundaries and bless me, and that I would do no harm, do no evil, and so forth, and kind of increasing the scope of our influence upon people. And God has impressed upon me that He will not enlarge our boundaries and our scope of influence upon people until He enlarges our heart for the things that matter to him.
Wow.
And that's what's happened.
Right.
That's why he gave me those songs.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I didn't even know about you until a few days ago. So I appreciate you being here. You've got a gorgeous voice. I don't know what all God's going to do with you, but
He has a brand new album out, just put out a year ago.
Really?
Called Walk of Faith.
Wow.
And recorded some of my songs, and I just see the Lord taking her up.
Now, isn't it cool how,
him.
as young as you are, God's already mapping out your life. So you stay true to him, okay? You know, this subject is, it ties in so closely to what my heart is about the cycle of abuse and how, you know, when you talk about the substance abuse, it's so sad that we didn't know ahead of time, that society wasn't raised with the opportunity of knowing that people are hurting everywhere. You know, that mother that couldn't keep her child because of drug abuse or substance abuse, it's because she was hurting. You know, sometime back in her, yeah, right.
Yes.
And it's just like a generational thing.
Yes,
it's just one thing after the other. And they need help.
Yes.
They're not throwaways. You know, they really need to know that there's somebody out there that has the answers.
You know, it's been an incredible thing with these children now. We are in contact with the birth family, not so much with the mother now, the birth mother, but with the two aunts. And I've been witnessing to them for the last year, and they're seeing the hand of God. And I'm praying for salvation to come in their families in West Virginia and Georgia. And they've told me they're so fragmented. They say, we have no one, we have no family. You're like our family. Now, because the Lord brought these children that are, you know, flesh and blood of theirs into our home. Now God is going into their home. So it's just been an amazing two-way blessing the Lord is working on. And you were talking about the children who go through this. And in the United States alone, there are approximately 129,000 children available for adoption. And they're in permanent foster care. Parents' rights have been, severed for whatever reason, and they are legal orphans. And in James 1:27, it says, "Pure religion before God our Father is this, to look out for the widows and the orphans, and to care for them in their time of need, and to keep yourself unspotted from the world." And if you do something like that for someone who can never pay you back, I believe that's what the Bible says, to keep yourself unspotted from the world. It helps keep your priorities straight. It's not for glory. It's not for money. It's not for convenience. My world is turned upside down, but we are so happy.
Right. Well, because you're seeing lives changed, you know. You're making a difference. Thank you so much for being here today, both of you. We've enjoyed it. You both have gorgeous voices. And like I said before, I don't know where God's taking you, what all's going to happen in your lives, but it's going to be good, okay? So you all stay tuned for next week. Of course, we're going to have another incredible guest for you. I hope you've enjoyed today, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.
Victoria Lee has a passion for bringing awareness to the effects of child abuse and the recovery process. She believes it's never too late to restore your self-image. To become a sponsor for Making It Happen or request Victoria for a speaking engagement, contact her at 918-398-0391 or go to her website at makeithappentv.com.
People that haven't been in abusive situations, they think, what is wrong with you? Can't you just get over it? But you can't get over it unless somebody tells you how. The sad part of it is that so many people end up in these abusive situations, and you wonder why there's so much depression. Why is there so much suicide? Why is there so much alcoholism? Why is there so much drug addiction? There's something causing all of that.
Yes, it is.
There's something inside of you that's hurting. And you need to understand why you're hurting. But I was still a child inside. Because, you know, it's almost like you get stuck in a period emotionally, and you can't go anywhere with it. So I got to the point where suicide was on my mind constantly. You know, how can I get out of this? How can I just stop the pain? It was almost like I had an open wound that I couldn't get to heal. I want to ask you a question. What is confidence? What is it about yourself that causes you not to have confidence? What is it about your environment that keeps you from moving forward? What is it about you that needs to be changed? You know, I thought for years that I was never quite good enough. I didn't have the right education. I didn't have the right upbringing. I went through a lot of abusive situations that made me think less and less of myself. And you know, I then found out that there was something inside of me that was bigger than I was. And it's not the extra weight. It's just that there was something inside of me that wanted to cause me to pursue something greater than what I already had. That made me want to go for something better in my life. That made me want to get rid of circumstances and people in my life that seemed to be dragging me down. That caused me to feel less and less of the kind of person that I really was. I used to think that I was horribly selfish, that I had no talents, that I was really going nowhere. Tell you the truth, when I was slinging hash at a little truck stop one time, I thought that's the only place I'm going to be going. But you know what? As soon as I began to experience some other levels in my life, as soon as I began to see that no, I'm more than that. I'm more than what people tell me that I am. I want to be something. I want to make a mark in this world, more than what I have right now. Well, now as you look at me, I've written 8 books. I've had my own television show. I've written so many things that have encouraged and inspired others. And that's what we're doing here today, is in encouraging and inspiring you to throw off those baggages that have held you back, to step forward, begin to have confidence in who you are, because all of us have a plan and a purpose in our lives. So I'm asking you, don't be afraid. Step forward. Become the real you, not the fake you, not the pretend you, not the I wish that I had you. Step forward. Become who God has created you to be.